Imagine a world where the ruler wasn't chosen by votes or by birthright alone. A world where a god literally pointed out who should be king. In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh wasn't just a king, he was a living god, a link between humanity and the divine. But how did they pick this divine leader for millions of people? It wasn't always as simple as the eldest son takes over. Dynasties came and went, sometimes without clear heirs. Power struggles were common, and that's where things got weird. When the throne was empty or disputed, the Egyptians turned to the one authority they all respected, the gods themselves. The solution? A grand procession where a sacred statue of a powerful god, like Amun-Ra, would be carried out of the temple. Thousands would gather, eager to witness the divine choice unfold. It was a massive public event. The priests, acting as the god's voice and hands, would carry the heavy bark through the crowded streets. And as the statue moved, everyone watched for the signs, because the god would physically indicate their choice. Several royal candidates, nobles, princes, even sometimes ambitious generals, would line up, hearts pounding. The tension would be electrifying as the sacred bark, carrying the god's will, drew closer to the hopefuls. And then the bark would hesitate, sway, or even turn directly towards one candidate, the chosen one. Imagine the shock, the awe, the instant realization that a god had just picked you to rule Egypt. The priests would then confirm, "The great Amun has spoken. This is your new pharaoh." The crowds would erupt. Cheers, celebrations, a massive wave of public approval, because who would argue with a god? This wasn't just a political coronation, it was a divine anointing. The new pharaoh was instantly legitimate, chosen by the heavens. But how did the statue move? Was it really divine intervention, or was there something else going on? Historians believe the priests used clever techniques. By subtly shifting their weight or using hidden levers, they could make the heavy bark sway and turn. The high priest, knowing the will of the gods, or at least the will of the temple's most powerful figures, would subtly direct the divine movement. Before the procession, powerful councils of priests and nobles would have already decided who they wanted to be pharaoh. The chosen candidate was often someone who had already gained favor, perhaps by making generous offerings to the temple or showing political skill. This method wasn't just for choosing new pharaohs, it was used to settle disputes, interpret omens, and even make judicial decisions. If two people had a legal dispute, the god statue would nod towards the innocent party or turn away from the guilty. It was a powerful tool to maintain order and justify decisions, all under the guise of divine will. This system, while seemingly bizarre to us, created immense stability. No one could truly question a god's choice. It reinforced the idea that the pharaoh was truly divine, chosen and blessed by the powerful gods of Egypt. Modern historians have pieced together how these oracles likely worked, combining priestly influence with genuine religious belief. It was a brilliant system of governance, using faith and spectacle to manage power in a way we can barely imagine today. So while we know the how, the sheer power of the spectacle and the belief of the people made these divine choices truly unbreakable. Ancient Egypt's weirdest way to choose a pharaoh was actually a stroke of genius, a system where the gods themselves reached down to pick their kings. Talk about a divine mandate!